So Disneyland slash Disney World, the happiest place on earth, right? But have you ever thought how it would be if you got stuck on one of the rides at Disneyland slash Disney World? Like Disneyland, for example. I know the rides do actually stop on occasion, but let's say like Disneyland, for example. Let's say you're in the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a dark setting. Like, what if you're on the ride and you're at Disneyland, right? The happiest place on earth. And like you're experiencing all the magic and everything, the atmosphere, right? The Disney atmosphere. So you're having fun, you're taking pictures, you're enjoying the music and everything. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. Yeah, all that good stuff, right? But then what if the ride just stops? Like it just comes to a halt. Let's say you're in the Pirates of the Caribbean. You're in the dark. You got the dark ceiling with the walls that have a pirate ship that looks like it's 10 miles away. You have the dark water that who knows what's living in there. And everything's good, right? You're having fun, right? Yo ho ho ho, a pirate's life for me. But then all of a sudden Joe, that's in charge of your boat going, all of a sudden he falls asleep because he's been there all day. So he's exhausted. He falls asleep and boom, he puts his elbow right on the stop button. So boom, all of a sudden your boat stops, right? Your boat stops, and now what do you do? What are you gonna do now? Well, nothing. You can't do anything because you're just stopped. You're in the Pirates of the Caribbean and there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. You just gotta wait 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes until Joe wakes back up so he can press the go button again, right? So then all of a sudden you're just stuck here. You got a pirate staring at you from the right side, and you look at the pirate, and since he stopped mid-motion, he's just staring at you like, you know, because he's got this motion going on, right? Like, they only gave him 2 motions. He's only got 2 motions. He's got the forward and backward motion, and he's got the jug of beer in his hand. So, they stopped him right when he's like this, and he just so happens to be staring right at you. And even though you know he's fake, he's an animatronic, he's a robot, still, it just kind of bothers you that his eyes, his glazy staring eyes are staring right at you for the entire 15, 20 minutes that it takes for Joe to wake back up and turn the ride back on. And it's weird, because you're just sitting there, you're with your family or your friends or whatever's going on, maybe you went by yourself, I don't know. And you're just sitting there, and every time you look to your right, you just see this pirate staring at you. And it kind of makes you feel weird because, like, what if he's staring at you and you know he's fake, right? You know deep down inside that he's fake. He's just there, like he's just like a mannequin, right? He's just there. He's doing whatever the electronics inside of him want to do. But just the glazed blank stare in his eyes kind of make you think, like, what if he's actually staring at me? Like you can't help but wonder that. And then like, okay, you're stuck for all that time. Like, what do you do? What if you have to go to the restroom? Like, really, what if you have to go to the restroom? Like, you don't even know how long you're gonna be stuck in this canoe, right? Or this little boat. You don't even know how long you're gonna be stuck in it. So what if you have to go to the restroom? You're not just gonna like pull your pants down and like, you know, do your thing in the water right there. Even though the water's dark and nobody would really ever know, but you're not gonna do that, right? I mean, let's just assume you wouldn't. But like, here's the thing. What if you have like little Jimmy Bob? Like, what if little Jimmy, who's 5 years old, has to go to the restroom? Okay, like maybe you could like kind of hold it or force it back, like, oh, I'm not gonna go. Oh, I really have to go, but damn, that pirate keeps staring at me. But like little Jimmy's sitting in that boat, and little Jimmy's your cousin, and he really has to go. He really has to go to the restroom. Well, like, what happens then? Like, you just keep waiting. Like, do you make him go on his pants? You gonna let him go in the water? Well, what do you do? What does poor little Jimmy do? Because poor little Jimmy has to go to the restroom, and poor little Jimmy asked mom and dad if he can go before we went on the ride. But mom and dad said, well, you know, little Jimmy, just wait, just wait till we go on this Pirates of the Caribbean, and you can go to the restroom after that, okay? And little Jimmy was like, all right, fine, I'll wait. And you can see the little tears in his eyes that he just wanted to go to the restroom. But then he thought, okay, fine, I'll just wait, because how long could it possibly take, right? Like, the ride maybe takes 10 minutes. Well, the ride will be done before you know it, and we already have our place in line, and look at how long the line is. So little Jimmy just thought, okay, fine, I'll wait. But little Jimmy didn't know that the Pirates of the Caribbean, that he was gonna be stuck in the middle of the ocean, because Joe fell asleep at the control room and put his elbow on the stop button. So now everyone's just stuck. You're pretty much stuck in the dark because the water's dark. The water, you don't even know. I mean, for all you know, that's oil down there. Like, another thing, I would be afraid. I would be scared to stick my finger in that water. Well, maybe not my finger, but what if you stick your whole arm into that water? Like, think about it. That water has been sitting there for who knows how many years and decades. I mean, who knows how often or if they even change the water, because we're just going in boats. So what if you stuck your arm in there? Is there like some kind of organism that's just waiting for someone to stick their arm in there so it could just bite it off? You might be thinking, yeah, sure, yeah, right, but who knows? You've never been in that water. I mean, I don't think any of us are ever gonna go in that water. I don't think you would want to. Like, seriously, who knows what's down there? The thing is, I just think, would it take away from the magic of Disneyland if the ride gets stuck? Like, what if you're on the Small World? You're on It's a Small World, right? And you're having fun, you're taking pictures and everything. Everything's good, the vibes are good. You're at the happiest place on earth. So you're on It's a Small World. You're having all kinds of fun. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world. And then they just give up. The boat stops, and the robots, the animatronics, the happy animatronics, they just stop. So they're waving their flags around, they're doing their thing, and all of a sudden they just stop. So now they're just there, right? They're just there. But doesn't it kind of ruin it then? It went from it's a small world, you're singing along and everything, everyone in your family, your friends is all singing along, hey, it's a small world after all. And then the old man in front of you is just like, can these people just shut up? So the old man's been there like 1,000 times, so to him it's just like whatever. So he's annoyed with the family behind him, but the family behind him is having a blast. They're all there. They're having a blast. They're right there singing along with the animatronics and everything, but then the ride just stops. The boat just comes to a complete stop. And at this point, you're just waiting. And like, okay, here's another thing. I think it would be kind of scary to get stuck inside of a ride at Disneyland when it just stops working, because you're used to just like moving. You're used to the ride going along and just moving and looking at everything, like all the characters, you know, waving at you on the ride and doing their two position motion. But what if you got trapped inside of Disneyland after they closed? So you got, like, let's just say you got stuck inside of Disneyland, right? You're stuck in Disneyland, it's dark, all the lights are off. That would freak me out. Like, imagine, like, what if Goofy and all of them, what if they just change at night? Like, what if they're just different? Like, they're sick and tired of being bottled up in Disneyland all the time. So what if they're just kind of like a little, you know, they got some screws loose in their head at night, and you get stuck. You're lucky enough, you're unlucky enough to get stuck in Disneyland at night. And so, like, during the day, it's the happiest place on earth. But at night, not so much. Like, what if you're just walking around, and then all of a sudden you just hear, like, from a distance, you just hear, grab the rope. And then, like, you turn around, like, what? You just literally heard Mickey say, grab a rope. And he giggled, grab a rope. You just turn around and you see Mickey like, like what were you gonna do with that? What if the Disney gang just like jumped you? Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. Like, what if they just all jumped you? Like, how scary would that be? You're getting jumped by the Disney characters. That to me would just, what? They're all just like, did you bring the rope, Goofy? And then Goofy's over here like, yeah, I'm got it. Just a little tangled over here, Mickey. I know that doesn't sound like Goofy. I'm not trying to sound like Goofy. It's just a little example. But like, seriously, what if you got jumped by them? And you're just held hostage by all the Disney characters? That would just be a little frightening. Like, you go during the day and they don't even talk when you take a picture of them. But then at night, they come alive, fully alive, and they just start talking. Like, I understand this is a little bit of a scary thought, and I hope it doesn't give you any nightmares. But hey, after all, we are in the month of Halloween. But seriously, what if they did come alive at night when Disneyland's closed? Like, they're just these completely different characters. It's like during the day, they're all happy and joyful, but then at night, they're just a little borderline psycho.